For the last few months, this dam that supplies more than 80% of Nairobi's water has been the subject of a mystery. Why it is not filling up despite the heavy rains pounding nearly every corner of Kenya, leaving a flooded yet thirsty capital city. But now there is a ready solution. Or is there?
We want to give this task force 2 months, starting now, because we cannot wait any further.
Yes, a task force set up to get all the answers in 30 days. But the Ndakaini Dam task force is only the last born in a family of many, many other siblings before it.
In the next 2 weeks, the ministry must tell the country how are we going to rectify the situation and the forest resources in this country so that we can better use those resources.
Only recently, the Task Force on Forest Resources Management and Logging Activities in Kenya was formed, as directed by the Deputy President, bred out of a worrisome trend of illegal logging and encroachment of forests and other catchment areas. A month later, in March, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife formed a task force on modalities of wildlife utilization in the country. The Ministry of ICT also took the cue, setting up a task force to explore the use of distributed ledger technology and artificial intelligence for development in the country.
Indeed, to this end, the Ministry of ICT, led by Joe Mushero, will set up a task force on blockchain and Internet of Things technology, because as a country, we cannot let these opportunities pass us by.
And in January, the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning set up one on formulation of regulations to operationalize the Land Act and Land Registration Acts of 2012 and Community Land Act of 2016. The lecturers' strike that is yet to be fully resolved appeared like a normal industrial dispute since it was centered on the 2017 collective bargaining agreement. But after a 2-month standoff, the Ministry of Education moved in, yes, with another task force to address the issues surrounding lecturers' pay, taking the country's growing love affair with task forces to a whole new level.
We are a nation of PR, okay, where we create institutions to satisfy the public's need for immediate action, while forgetting that there's always been an opportunity to have action done in the first place.
While there are institutions and state departments in place that should essentially plan ahead, a knee-jerk reaction has seemingly been the easier approach.
And that's really where the problem is, because you only create a task force where the institution that was supposed to do something has failed. And therefore, it would not make sense to duplicate roles, in the sense that, for example, if you're going to form a task force on disaster and you have an institution in charge of disaster, first suspend everyone in the institution, then create the task force.
The government spokesperson, Jacky Maribe, attributes it to growing changes in the environment, necessitating immediate action on policy review and change. Maribe told Citizen TV, quote, "The government operates within policies, procedures and regulations, all within the law. Growing changes within our environment lead to discovery of policy gaps, and task forces assist a lot in creation of new policies," end quote. Task forces lead to reports. Reports contain recommendations, but to critics, that is just as far as it goes.
We do with our task force reports what my lecturers did with my engineering report in 5th year. We put them in a library, and the words somehow keep each other company, and we hope that they'll jump out one day and fix our country.
July 2017, and the Task Force on Repatriation of Refugees was created. In the same month came one to oversee the commercialization of genetically modified cotton in the next 5 years. Another in October 2017 on the very same cotton. November 2017, the Task Force on Climate Change was created. And in 2016, several others had been created, including one to look into the miraa sector.
We do not prepare for the obvious, and then we create a task force to discuss how we didn't prepare for the obvious. What needs to happen is we need to have common sense solutions to common sense problems.
But Karaide acknowledges that not all recommendations are brought on board. He says, quote, a task force can recommend 100 policies, but you're not going to take all the recommendations as a capsule. Some may be implemented, some not, and there are budgetary implications to consider. Proponents see task forces as a way of bringing in independent minds to deal with complex issues, but critics see it as just another waste of time and money. A raging debate that may perhaps require yet another task force to resolve. Jacky Maribe, Citizen TV in Nairobi.